Good morning, dear students of Standard 7. Here we come with a geography subject, lesson number 3, that is tides. Okay, here are some objective answers, question with the answers, which you have to write it down. Is that clear, students? So, let's get started now. पॉइंट्स टू रिमेंबर, येस यू हैव टू राइट इट डाउन इन योर नोटबुक. यहाँ से कोई भी पॉइंट्स ऑब्जेक्टिव बेसिस में क्वेश्चन में आ सकता है. इज दैट क्लियर? सो पॉइंट्स टू रिमेंबर में फर्स्ट वन, the movement of sea water changing after a specific period of time is called dash. एक टाइम के हिसाब से जो वाटर का मूवमेंट है वो चेंज होते रहता है, तो उसे क्या कहते हैं? दैट इज़ कॉल्ड टाइड्स. सो दैट इज़ कॉल्ड टाइड्स. सेकेंड वन, द साइकिल ऑफ हाई टाइड and low tide get completed after dash. हाई टाइड और लो टाइड का जो साइक्लिंग्स रहता है वो कब कंप्लीट होता है? 12 hours 25 minutes. Every after 12 hours 25 minutes. Tides are directly related with two forces, that is gravitational and centrifugal force. Understood? Gravitational and centrifugal force. Now next one, due to the rotation of force, no, next one is fourth one. Okay, the force which act in the direction opposite to the gravitational force. जो फोर्स है वो डायरेक्शन, ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन, कौन सा फोर्स ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स करता है? दैट इज सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स. ओके, next one, the highest tide occurs on the, सबसे हाईएस्ट टाइड कब ऑकर होता है? इन फुल मून एंड न्यू मून डे. क्लियर? टू टाइप ऑफ टाइड्स आर, टू टाइप ऑफ टाइड्स क्या है? स्प्रिंग टाइड एंड निप टाइड. NEAP, निप टाइड. नेक्स्ट वन, द टाइड दैट ऑकर्स ऑन फुल मून एंड न्यू मून डे, दैट इज स्प्रिंग टाइड. द टाइड दैट ऑकर्स ऑन फुल मून एंड न्यू मून डे, दैट इज स्प्रिंग टाइड. द टाइड ऑकरिंग ऑन द डे ऑफ अ फर्स्ट एंड थर्ड क्वार्टर, दैट इज निप टाइड. The difference in the water level on the high tide and the low tide is called tidal range. The tidal range is open sea is, the tidal range in open sea is 30 centimeter. The tidal range along the coast of peninsular India is 100 to 150 centimeter. Next, the highest tidal range on the world is observed at, सबसे बड़ा टाइडल रेंज कहाँ पे ऑब्जर्व होता है? दैट इज बे ऑफ फंडी, 1600 सेंटीमीटर, along with the Atlantic coast of North America. In India, the highest tidal is in the Gulf of Cambuk, that is 1100 centimeter. Understood? Clear? Now next one. Generally, in the day, the high tide and low tide occurs how many times? Twice. The main reason of a wave generation is wind. So next one, ripples generated on the sea water surface are called waves. जो ripples आता है, ये ripples s के ऊपर 2 दिया है, ठीक है, तो that is ripples means double s, so it is given 2. Don't get confused about that. Ripples generated on the sea water surface are called waves. The raised portion of waves is called crest. The depressed portion of a wave is called trough. T-R-O-U-G-H. Got it? The vertical distance between a crest on the following tuff is called the amplitude of a wave. The distance between two successive crests or trough is called wavelength. The wavelength, amplitude, the velocity of wave depend on velocity of the wind. Tall sea waves caused by earthquake below the floor of a sea are called tsunami. In 2004, tsunami waves are generated near Sumatra Island in Indonesia. Understood? Now come to the question. See. This is a question. Okay. Fill in the blanks. Due to the rotation, the force that work away from the center of the earth is a dash force. Nip tide occurs on the day of a dash and the quarter of each month. The tidal range, third one, the tidal range in open sea is dash centimeter. ये सारे आपके points to remember textbook में मिल जाएंगे. The main reason for waves generation is dash. The raised up portion of a wave is called dash. The depressed portion of a wave is called dash. The vertical distance between the crest and the trough is called a dash. The distance between the crest or trough is called dash. Tall sea waves caused by earthquake below the floor of a sea are called dash. So these questions you have to write down. Okay, this is the next question. Again fill in the blanks, but you have to write question number 2. Okay, this is not MCQ, this is a fill in the blanks which you have to note it down or write it down. High and low tides are dash phenomenon. You have to find the answer from your textbook and you have to write it. Dash are movement of sea water occurring daily and regularly. Any object of surface of a earth remain at the place due to the dash force. The meridians that are at right angle to those having high tide will experience tide dash. On the day of a first and the third quarter, the high tide is at its dash. You have to write the answer over here. On new moon and full moon day, the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon act in the dash direction. At every dash, a cycle of a high tide and low tide get completed. So you have to find this answer from your textbook and you have to write it down. Got it, students? So आज के लिए इतना ही हम करते हैं. Again I will come with a next video in your next period. Is that clear? Till then you have to complete this work and you have to make a PDF file and send it in WhatsApp group. Till then, goodbye.